Okay, the next thing we're going to be talking about is putting decimals in order from smallest to largest. So as you can see, I have 4 different decimals to my left side over here. The first thing I'm going to do is, like Mrs. Tomlinson said, it's always easier to compare decimals when you make sure you have the same amount of digits in the place values. So in this first decimal, I only have a digit, a 5, in the tenths place, so I'm going to add a 0 in the hundredths place. In this decimal, I have a 0 in the tenths and a 5 in the hundredths. In this decimal, I have a 5 in the tenths and a 5 in the hundredths. And in this decimal, I have a 5 before the decimal point as a whole and a 5 in the tenths, so I'm going to add another 0 in the hundredths place. So now that I added a digit in the tenths and hundredths place in each decimal to make sure that they are the same or similar, I'm going to use my base 10 blocks to compare them. So as you can tell, I have a 0 decimal point 5 tenths. So I have, that means it's 5 tens, so it's going to be 5 longs out of 10 longs that equal 100, which equals a whole flat. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. For my next decimal, I have 5 hundredths, so it's 5 cubes out of 100 cubes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For my next decimal, I have 5 tenths in the tens place and 5 hundredths. So I'm going to have 5 longs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And now looking at the 5 hundredths, that's going to give me 5 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can tell that I have 5 tens out of 10 tens, which equals 1 flat. And I have 5 cubes out of 100 cubes, which equals 1 flat. Going on to the next decimal, I have 5 wholes, so my whole is going to be a flat. So I have 1, 200, 300, 400, 5 wholes. And then I'm going to add 5 longs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now that I figured out, using base 10 blocks, what these decimals look like, I'm able to put them in order from smallest to largest. So obviously you can tell that the 5 hundredths is the smallest decimal. So I'm going to put this post-it note at the top showing you that this is the smallest decimal out of the 5. And I'm going to take those base 10 blocks, put them next to it. The next one that I think comes next is going to be the 5 tenths, which is 50. So I'm going to move these base 10 blocks over here and have this post-it note in place. And then the next one is 55 hundredths. And then, of course, after that, the largest one, as you could probably tell, was the 5 and 50 tenths. So, taking a look at all of these base 10 blocks, you can see which ones are the smallest and which one is the largest. So make sure that you're using your base 10 blocks when you work in your workbook page. They will help you visualize the decimals, and that's it. Thank you for watching.